Okay, today I am in Palmetto, Florida at the Regatta Point Yacht Basin and taking a tour of the Nina and the Pinta, replicas of the ships used by Christopher Columbus to discover America. Now I've been on already to get some information before I started shooting. This one is the smaller one. This is the Nina. It's 65 feet long. That was the first one built back in 1988. It was started and completed in 1991. Now the Nina was purposely built for, basically it's a floating museum. These things travel all over the country, up rivers and everywhere else. I'll show you a map of where all they've been. They've been to Chattanooga before too. Again, this is the Nina. That's a very interesting guy to talk to.
So you can pick any one of those.
Now these boats are manned by volunteers. And the cargo hold is in the middle and it's all below deck. That's on both boats. The crew back in the day slept on deck, lived and slept on deck. So all the animals and cargo and whatever they would have would be down below. This is toward the aft. I'd love to be a lazy dog sometime. This is why the ships are black on the outside. It's pine tar. Anytime I'm filming one of these signs, just click the screen, pause to pause it to read it.
These things are branches. And they drive them down and they keep them tight.
In fact, if anybody wants to be on one of these things, be a volunteer. I asked the guy, he says the average is around 6 months right now, 6-month tenure between all the people they have on there now. They like you to stay at least 3 weeks, but sometimes they last years. Now this one's the most historically accurate of the two ships, the Nina. It was built specifically for these excursions, whereas the Pinta next door was overbuilt and not quite, it's bigger, it's 85 feet, and originally it was 70. That was built for carrying people, excursions, sunset cruises and stuff down in the Caribbean. It was completed in 2005. So they did that for a few years. Then it became part of this floating museum, so they travel the country together. Now, the Nina actually had quite a history after discovering the New World. It was used for years afterward. Whereas the Pinta, once it went back, it was pretty well lost in the history. Nobody knows what became of it. Now there's no Santa Maria because it was quite a bit bigger. All right, about to go on the Pinta. Again, all the cargo was stored below deck in the hold. But right now the crew lives down there because there's air conditioning. But back in the day, they would live on deck. And they didn't have these canopies over back then either. Now the Columbian Exchange, basically what we would get from Europe and Africa to the Americas were these items, and then from the Americas we would ship over things like this. Here's one of the volunteers. This is her second day?
Second day.
Second day on the job. How long before do you think you turned green?
I don't know, about a year probably.
Before you turned green?
Yeah.
Just coming up to that upper deck. These volunteers don't get any pay. I think they divide up the tips, but they get, food is provided, and of course room and board. So, obviously, it's probably best for someone that's fit and able, young person. Although if you're fit and used to be around boats and whatnot, or ships or whatever, and you're retired and single, as long as you're physically fit enough, it might be a job for you too. Somehow I don't think that's period correct. Now this one's the larger one at 85 feet, the Pinta. This one's powered by twin Perkins, whereas the diesels. The Nina over there has a single Perkins diesel. Apparently it's the most reliable. This one breaks down more than the single engine, according to the guy. Now they have a little gift shop thing here. This is what I wanted to show you guys, this map. All those black marker lines, this is all the places these ships go, all up the coast, Great Lakes, and all the inland rivers. I've seen them in where they came to Chattanooga. There's places these boats go that I didn't know you could get to. They used to go to Sioux City. Keep in mind these things draw 7 feet. Now they go to Muskogee, Oklahoma, go up into Arkansas. It says the Nina has been through the Panama Canal 10 times for her West Coast tours. These things, they're basically 4 to 6 weeks out of the year. They go into dry dock and get all redone. They're in Biola Battery, Alabama, near where I used to live as a kid. They're in December and January. Now, I might have mentioned this before, pardon me if I did, but the Pinta here was started in 1988 and completed in 1991. I'm sorry. The Nina was started in 88. That's the smaller one. The most original, accurate, historically accurate, and it was completed in 91. This one here, the Pinta, this was completed in 2005. Yeah, that's right. Again, that's the Nina, the smaller one, 65 feet. And the Pinta at 85 feet. And again, normally that boat originally was around 70 feet, so it's not as historically accurate. Also, these were built in Brazil by, I don't know how many generation Portuguese shipbuilders, descendants from the original, the shipbuilders that originally built the original ones. Because Brazil was settled by the Portuguese, so they had migrated there. And it was built with original tools and everything, the same methods as they were originally built back in the 1400s. One last note, that right there is the cooling discharge for the air conditioning. Yes, they have air conditioning down in the cruise quarters down below, which used to be the cargo hold originally. And they said, yeah, they still camp out on the upper deck every once in a while when the air conditioning fails. All right, that is the Nina and the Pinta, and that is the Manatee River, looking over toward Bradenton from Palmetto. Okay, if these come to your town, it's well worth seeing. It costs $8.50 for an adult to take the tour, and I would definitely do it. They're looking for volunteers, by the way. Go to ninapinta.org, and you can be a volunteer. That's the Columbus Foundation that runs these things. Again, Regatta Point Marina in Palmetto. If you're not familiar with Palmetto, it's north of Bradenton, over on the west coast, Florida. Alright, in closing, I just want to show you this. That's a 47 Chris Craft Commander. That's a late 60s vintage. Pretty nice example of one. That's when they first started going to fiberglass. The ones before that were wood, the Constellations. And they also later had the Romer series too, aluminum. The little 47 Chris Craft Commander. Alrighty then.